3 reasons why prop trading has taken the world of retail by storm. Number 1, it's super easy to create an account. All you need is a credit card and you're ready to go. No need for documentation, no need to proof of citizenship, nothing. It's very, very simple. Most prop firms will simply onboard you with just a credit card purchase. Number 2, it's very simple to get started. Most prop firms use web-based software. All you need is a browser and a login, and you have access to trading real markets. And number 3, and the most important part, is it's very limited in risk. Your only risk when you're prop trading is simply your entrance fee whenever you enter into a prop trading evaluation. Now contrast that with creating a brokerage account, which requires lots of documentation of proof of identity for you, as well as large amount of capital you have to deposit, and more importantly, the possibility of risk of loss of that capital. So that is the reason why prop trading, which allows you to trade virtual funds on real market data, has absolutely become the greatest and latest craze in the retail world. It has attracted millions upon millions of new entrants into the world of markets and introduced them to the art, the fun, and of course, the pain of speculation. Now, I've created the ultimate guide to prop trading to help you understand better this new phenomenon in retail trading and to help you avoid some of the common pitfalls that befall everybody who's new to this business. Let's see what's inside this guide, which is totally free to you and available for download in the link below. Let's go. So let me walk you through this ultimate guide to prop trading. It's a 55-page booklet, PDF booklet, which you can download in the link below. I'm going to walk you through first the basic table of contents, and then we'll talk a little bit in detail about each one of the sections here. So first and foremost, of course, we have an overview of prop trading, followed by what is the funded trader opportunity, what is really the mechanics of prop trading for the retail space, then a comparison between CFD and forex prop firms versus futures prop firms, because there's some key differences between the two that you really need to be aware of depending on which one you want to take as an evaluation. Then we take a look at a variety of trading platforms, and there's quite a few of them. Many of them are web-based, some of them are actually not web-based, some of them are Windows-only platforms, and we'll go through all of them and show you sort of what are the advantages and disadvantages of each one of those platforms. Then we talk about trading strategies. And there's quite a lot of trading strategies that most prop traders use. There's the basic trend following, then there's scalping, something that we use in our day trading all day long. Then there is swing trades and other risk management and other aspects that you really need to be aware of. So we'll get into that in just a little bit as I get into some of the details about the strategies. Then we'll move on to psychology, which is very, very important. And the idea very much of basically sticking to a trading plan, just like you would stick to a business plan. Very important for anybody who wants to try out. One of the great things about prop trading, by the way, is the fact that it lets you practice over and over and over all of these key psychological, mechanical, and trading strategy factors for very, very little cost to you. And that gives you sort of like the same kind of ability as a flight simulator does to a pilot. That's how they learn how to fly, and this is exactly how you learn how to trade. So it's one of those great advantages of prop trading. Then you have the ability to actually do tracking and performance on all your metrics, and there's lots of interesting tools that I show you in terms of being able to use that. Then we talk a little bit about the various regulations and some of the regions and some of the aspects that may be a little bit obscure to most retail traders, but very much need to know, especially depending where you are in the world. May depend on what kind of trading you should be doing in terms of regulatory approach. Then we have a really nice section on all the resources. And by the way, this section is fully clickable. So everything in this section actually takes you to the URLs on the web with all those resources. And I think it's hopefully really, really valuable. And finally, we close up with a glossary of trading terms. And this is very good because one of the key things about kind of knowing any business is you got to know the jargon. So we show you all the jargon, what it means, and that way when you get into prop trading and people are talking to you about various things, or you try to look and understand the rules of various prop trading firms, you'll know exactly what those rules mean and how they relate to the prop trading culture. So I think hopefully that'll be very, very useful to you. Anyways, here's the beginning. We do a little bit of the overview. The distinction from retail trading, of course, very clear that prop trading is very distinct from retail trading because you're trading virtual funds. And being able to trade virtual funds is actually an incredible advantage for lots of reasons. One of them, of course, is that you don't have your real capital at risk.
But the other reason is that I think you also have a natural psychological distance to those funds because they're virtual. It doesn't feel like every single penny is yours, and it allows you to have, I think, a lot of greater psychological clarity towards being able to trade. So that's one of the key advantages of prop trading. Now, the funded trade opportunity really comes in a whole bunch of different ways, but there's generally sort of a very formulaic approach. You have to take a test. And a test is essentially your ability to trade a virtual account to a certain profit without hitting a certain loss. Now, there's a wide variety of those tests, and we go through and I explain to you what some of those qualifying phases are. There's some tests that have only one phase, where you just simply take one phase. If you hit your target, you're done. Other firms sometimes have two phases, a first phase and then a second phase. Some firms can have even three phases, which makes it much more difficult. Clearly, my personal preference is to go only with one phase farms. It just makes it much simpler, much easier. You pass the exam, you get funded. It becomes very, very clear. You don't have to jump through too many hoops. But there are a wide variety of reasons for one. One might be better than the other. We go into some of the details as to why this happens. Now, of course, there's quite a lot of challenges in becoming a prop trader, and those are important to address as well. Not the least of which is that, like everything else, it's difficult. The pass rate, even on the challenge number, is only 5 to 7%, which is, by the way, why we spend so much time coaching our traders, and that's why our traders have an incredibly higher pass rate than the general public, because they basically have the tools, the knowledge, the techniques to be able to pass these tests in the way that they're designed, because they're also designed in a way they want you to trade in a certain way that may be uncomfortable for people, and you really have to learn how to do it properly. Now, the differences between various prop firms are really important. It basically divides into two types of worlds. There is the CFD forex world, and this is essentially firms that trade contracts for difference, or FX. And then there's the futures world. Generally, not 100% true, but generally, the futures firms are mostly US-based, because futures are a US-based product, although their customers are the world over. Anybody can trade US futures, and a lot of people trade with US futures prop firms. The CFD and FX firms almost always are essentially offshore, and they're trading, offshore products, because those products are really not available for US customers. However, and this is the key thing, they may not be available for US customers on a retail account basis. In other words, I cannot, as a US customer, go and open a CFD trading account where I could trade FX and indices and oil and gold, everything under one roof in a very clean, very, very efficient fashion. However, I can, as a US customer, open an account with a prop firm and trade virtual funds with a prop firm. And then if I'm successful, fund that account and have that account pay me out real money as I go forward. So it's totally possible for US customers to actually trade the CFD environment in prop trading fashion. That's a very interesting aspect that a lot of people don't know about. Now, of course, the difference between futures and CFD is very important. CFD is essentially what's known as a dealer-based market. You are trading on the prices that the dealers set, which of course are set by actually the futures market. The futures market is sort of like the underlying market, but the futures market is an exchange-based market. It's a single exchange, Chicago Mercantile Exchange or the COMEX, where the product is traded in a single fashion. So first come, first serve, all the orders flow to that exchange, and there's one single price, unifying price. Whereas on the CFD platforms, every dealer has a slightly different price. Not a big difference, because otherwise there'll be arbitrage, but sometimes slightly different prices on that. The advantage of CFDs is that you don't pay commission most of the time. The disadvantage, of course, is that you have to pay bid-ask spreads. On futures, you can actually make bid-ask spreads, but you have to pay commission. All of those factors are totally incorporated into your virtual trading environment, as though it was a real trading environment. So you'll be paying commissions on your virtual trades just as much as you would on real trades. Now, you have to develop a strategy, and you have to look at what kind of trading platforms there are in the world. Now, there's basically two types of platforms. There's the web-based platforms, and there's the desktop platforms. And there's a myriad of things that we talk about, but generally, and I'm not going to go into each single platform because that's what the guide is for. You can essentially view all the specifics of each particular platform on the guide. But generally, the rule of thumb, or sort of the new trend amongst retail traders, is to use web-based platforms. People love web-based platforms because you don't have to download any software. It doesn't have to be Windows or Macintosh specific. It's just a web browser, and it now has such rich functionality, has so much ability, that you actually can achieve almost all the functionality that you would with a standalone program or web-based program. So that seems to be the trend going forward, but there's still plenty of people that very much like the ability to program the desktop programs to do certain things, to create logic, to create even strategies. All of that is only available on desktop programs. So if you want to take a level higher, that actually, of course, is the advantage of the desktop programs. And you also have mobile trading apps and all sorts of things like that. So we go through all of those platforms and we talk about the various aspects of it. Next, we turn to the idea of trading strategies. And there's a wide variety of trading strategies. We'll go through the most common ones, which is trend following, scalping. Scalping is something that I do personally all day long, and this is something that we do in Pass the Prop that I like to do very much, which is basically take small, quick profits during the day on the intraday move. Then you can do day trading, which is capturing intraday moves. And for those that have a longer term time frame, and depending on the kind of prop firm you have and what their rule set is, you can actually even do swing term, medium term opportunities on trading. Now, risk management techniques are also very important. And you have to understand, and we talk about this quite extensively, that there is a natural trade-off between accuracy and risk reward. So if you want a high risk reward, in other words, I want to risk $1 to make $5, your accuracy will be terrible. You'll be lucky if you have a 22% accuracy, because the markets just simply don't give you $5 for every dollar worth of risk. And also, we have a very key section here about the importance of having a winning edge. It doesn't matter which strategy you choose, doesn't matter which kind of risk management you choose to practice. The key thing is you need to be net positive based upon the strategy that you're doing. You have to have that positive edge. In the end, you have to have what's called a positive expectancy. In section 6, we talk about trading psychology, probably one of the more important aspects of trading. And this is a lifetime struggle for people, including me. The ability to control your emotions, the ability to control your fear and greed, the necessity to maintain discipline in the face of uncertainty, because really trading is, of course, the art of living in uncertainty. There's never any predictability that is 100% in trading, and not even 80% most of the time. So we're constantly on the edge of chaos with trading, and that ability to sort of survive the ups and downs of the trading world, very, very important, perhaps the most important aspect of being able to be a long-term successful trading. And of course, we talk about the basic, most common emotional pitfalls that every trader, including yours truly, falls to all the time. Really important to know them up front, because perhaps you can't overcome them right away, but at least you can recognize them. And it's when you can recognize them, you can do better next time and better next time and minimize their negative impact on your trading. So really, really important to have that great section here that talks about all the absolute emotional problems that everybody has in terms of creating the right psychological thing. It's really important when you're trading to, of course, like in any activity, to have some kind of a performance measurement tracking system. The good thing is there are so many things on the web that are fully automated, that don't require tedious data input, don't require lots and lots of complicated personal time. And we show you some of the key tools that allow you to basically upload your trading summary and give you very, very clean, clear analytics. As a matter of fact, not just that, but some of the trading platforms that we trade with have built-in analytics right at a click of a button, which makes it very easy for you to see how well you're doing on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis. Really, really good. And it's all part, of course, of having continuous learning education. Now, another part of prop trading that I think is really important is, of course, regulatory oversight. Every part of the world has different regulatory aspects to it. It's really important to know where you live. Depends on what kind of prop trading you'll be able to do. As I said, if you're a US customer, the most obvious, the easiest one to be able to trade is, of course, futures prop trading, because that's completely allowed to US customers. Some prop firms will not take on US customers because they don't want to trade. MetaTrader, which is another very popular trading platform, will not allow them to do that. Some of them will. You basically have to sort of understand what region of the world you're in and what are your rights and obligations that you need to have. And also be mindful of what future possible regulations could be coming down the pike. There certainly probably will be. This is a young industry. It's sort of the wild, wild west. And of course, regulators are going to be looking at this much more carefully. So there may be more constraints down the road. But in the meantime, of course, we're following it very, very carefully. And we follow this, by the way, very carefully with our newsletter, which we publish 3 times a week called Prop Trader Edge. There's a link there to subscribe to it. So very useful for you if you really want to keep in touch of what's going on in the prop space. It's a great newsletter because it tells you everybody who is trading, all the great discounts, trading strategies, trading ideas, psychological columns, all things that are really, really all about trading and all things about prop trading that can be very, very useful to you. One of the great sections I have in here that I think is really useful for everybody is all the resources for prop traders. This includes news, education, platforms. The links are all here. And so this is a panoply of very, very interesting, useful information that you can have fully safe for you. It's great. You can, there's community forums, there's analysis, there's lots of really interesting links here that could be very useful for you to use as a stowaway. That's why we made it into a PDF, so you can have it as a resource. And then finally, and I think last but definitely not least, is the glossary of prop trading terms, just a glossary of all trading terms. Knowing what these things are or looking them up when somebody says something to you using those terms, very useful. You'll really get into the lingo of the space and you'll be a fully professional prop trader in no time by being able to have it. So I hope it's a really useful tool, completely free. As I said, just simply click the link below and you can download it, keep it forever. It's yours to keep. It's just kind of our gift to you guys because we love the prop trading space so much, and we thought this would be a great instrument for everybody to kind of get acquainted with it. Whether you're a beginner, an intermediate, or an advanced trader, there's something here for everybody here. So I wish you guys best of luck in the best of trading. I'll see you guys in the market. Boris Schlossberg, over and out.